Hi, welcome to a good not great tutorial for Disciple Tools. I'm going to cover the site-to-site links, the concept of how to link between one Disciple Tool site and another Disciple Tool site. To find the site-to-site links, you go into the admin area, and here in the list you would see site links. So go to all site links. This is in a Disciple Tool system. Let's see if they all connect. Yeah, okay, this is a good example. So the site links is a way of connecting one site to another site. You have different types of site links. Some that just have to do with special purpose training connections, some that are create and update contacts, some that are connecting your network dashboard. So these are explicit connections. You can have them with the same site, between the same two sites, and have a couple different kinds of connections. Because along with those will come permissions and access and security. So here's one example. There's some status indicators. This says this one is linked and working. This one says this is connecting to a non-Disciple Tools site, which means it can't give back the feedback of whether it's working or not working. And then down here, this one says, hey, we connected to the site. It's out there, but the verification token failed, didn't qualify. So these are not connected or not in a healthy state. And I'll walk through how those are different. So here's a connection. This one is a network dashboard connection between these two sites. As we open it up, you'll see the token, the site 1 and site 2, and then the type of connection is established all right here. This is where a lot of people get tripped up. These three pieces of information need to be identical in the other site. So these three pieces of information provide the security token that you take to the other site. So you would copy this, and it needs to be the same three in those three order. The connection type is not as explicit, but those three have to be the same for you to get this green linked status. So over here, I'm pointing at site 1 called states, it's a local thing. So this is the current site. You can see right here, my current site is global Zume community local. My remote site, and they can be in whichever order you want, but one or two, but they have to be identical on both sides. So when I go over to here on the states, this is the state server. This is the connection here to the global site, network dashboard connection. You can see it's identical. Here's my token, unique key, which is identical to this token. Then there's a states is number 1 and global is number 2. Those three things have to be identical on both sides, and you will link up. Permissions are then determined lower here. So this type of connection, you can say, is a transfer of dashboard connection information both directions, or we're only receiving, we're not sending, or we're only sending, we're not receiving from the other site. So the current site states, so this site, I can define, is this a one directional or bidirectional relationship? And the same is true for the contacts. Do I transfer contacts both directions? Is it just coming, am I just sending to this other group but not receiving from this other group? Or am I receiving only from this other group and not sending to this other group? So you can define all three of those kind of states, bidirectional. Create and update contacts, which means you can take incoming contacts not as a transfer, but actually this is the permission for like the web form or other kinds of integrations. And then create contacts. So you can have create an update or just a create contact status. Then down here, if I wanted to delete this configuration, I could hit delete here. It'll confirm it, and I would destroy the token. Then if I wanted to rebuild it, I would have to go back to the other site, get all these 3 pieces of information, come back over here and establish it. And then you can actually confirm your IP address and say, I only want to receive transfers from a certain server at a certain IP address. So this is a nice little widget here, fetching IP address. I can say, this is the IP address of this server that I'm on, and I could take that information, send it over, either put it in myself or send it over to whoever's running this other site, and they could actually lock in and say, we'll only take transfers from, or any kind of interaction from this IP address. That way you can, this is another layer of security. The last piece here, and I guess I'll go back to this list, which had it in place. Sometimes you will take, you'll have the Disciple Tools. This link system can work with non-Disciple Tools systems. So like here's an example of how that's set up. And really that basically is defined just by this final, drop down here. And you can say, this is by default, it's yes, it's a Disciple Tool system, or you can change it to no, it's not a Disciple Tool system. And that will keep the link from trying to connect here. And basically it's setting up so you can integrate with other types of systems. So one final thing, I just want to demonstrate how to create the link and go through the entire process. So here I am on the global side. I am going to click Add New. It's going to take me to this screen. I'm going to put in new connection. And I can come down here and say I'm going to do this to the States site. And I can add this site. You just click these and it'll add the local site that you're on. And it's going to be a create and update contacts relationship. It'll go both directions. So create and update contacts. Or actually I could do a transfer both ways. Either way, it doesn't matter. Hit publish. That will save and lock in place these 3 pieces of information. So go ahead and save. Okay, now they're locked. And it's going to tell me over here, yeah, okay, we see the site out there, but the token verification failed. Okay, and then it's got a little tutorial on that. But we know that because we haven't, and I'm going to copy this, we haven't gone and established it on the other side. So I'm going to go over to the other side. This is now the States server on this side. And I'll go and create a new contact here. And we'll say a new connection to global site. I'm going to clear this one because I don't need the auto-generated one. I'm going to paste in the one I got from the other side. I'm going to add this site, which is now States, but this is not correct. So I'm going to have to go global.zoome.community.local. That's the name of the other site. And we'll say this is a contact transfer both ways. Hit publish. It goes off. Creates that. Now it's going to check and see, is it out there linked? If it isn't, or something has come wrong, it should provide some status indicators of why this isn't connecting. One of the primary things you have to watch is both of these sites have to be SSL or encrypted. Disciple Tools requires encryption. You can't run this on a server that doesn't have encryption. There's so many reasons why, especially with the kind of work and data that goes into Disciple Tools, it has to be SSL, the server, both sides of the servers, or else it'll fail. Okay.